Good morning, beautiful goddesses. We are so grateful, blessed, and honored each and every one of you are here today for session episode 19. Connie, can you even believe it?
I can't even believe it. It's been a fun ride.
It has been an adventure, and we have so much more in store for you and in our hearts and in our minds. And the question today is, do you want to learn how to outwit fear? Yes, and more, please. I know I do.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess you can see I'm in a different location today.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look a little different today than we're used to.
So
I love the background. It's so beautiful.
I'm in the bungalow, my newly renovated bungalow, getting ready to go on a biblical retreat for Revelation Wellness. I am a certified instructor with that organization. It's all about bringing movement and the Holy Spirit, not only embody it, but bring it to the mat. And I'm excited about, seeing what the Lord has for me this week, really praying for clarity as we are all stewards in his kingdom and for his business, and just really humbled to be on this journey, not only with my soul sister bestie, but all the other, amazing soul sisters and goddesses that listen, continue to tune in each and every week with us. So
Well, I can't wait till next week because I'm sure you're gonna have some good things to share.
yes. Well, and we might, we've got dogs and lawnmowers, so who knows what's going to happen? It will be an adventure.
This is what it looks like working from home. You get to escape into our free water store,
Yes.
and you know many of us are here at home.
Yeah. I love both and all, so it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So you've got some juice and jam for us?
I do. So, I've been leading this book club on Saturday mornings, and we just finished Think and Grow Rich. And so the last chapter of Think and Grow Rich is about clearing the brain to receive the abundance and riches that are our birthright, right?
Yes.
And one of the things, so we're always talking about like putting things in, but we also talk about we have to remove things as well. Oh my goodness.
God bless you.
Thank you. So the last chapter is actually called, here's my new readers had to.
I picked them out. I like them.
You did, you picked them out. So it talks about how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, take a look inside of your own life and really your thoughts. Take an inventory of yourself as you're hearing these excerpts from this chapter, and find out how many of the quote ghosts of fear are standing in your way before you can put any portion of this philosophy into successful use. Your mind must be prepared to receive it. The preparation is not difficult. It begins with study, analysis, and understanding the 3 enemies which you shall have to clear out. These are.
Let's take a deep breath.
Yeah. We're clearing things out.
Clearing things out.
So they are indecision, doubt, and fear. So here's the deal. We talked last week about our 6th sense. The 6th sense will never function while these 3 negatives or any of them remain in your mind.
Say them again.
Indecision,
doubt,
fear.
Indecision, doubt, and fear.
The members of this unholy trio are closely related. Where one is found, the other 2 are close at hand. Indecision is the seedling of fear. Remember this as you read and listen. Indecision crystallizes into doubt, and the 2 blend together to become fear. This blending process is often slow. This is the one reason why these 3 enemies are so dangerous. They germinate and grow without their presence being observed. So right now we're asking you to look at where indecision, doubt, and fear may be residing, and really in the way of where you are now and where you are committed to becoming, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you what Okay, here we go. Do not be deceived by the habits of these subtle enemies. Sometimes they remain hidden in the subconscious mind, where they are often difficult to locate and still more difficult to eliminate. And we got some hot tips of the day about that. So there are 6 basic fears with some combination of which every human suffers at one time or another. Most people are fortunate if they do not suffer from the entire 6. Named in the order of their most common appearance are the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism. We're going to do a deep dive into that. The fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love or someone, the fear of old age, it's 5, and 6 is the fear of death. All other fears of minor importance can be grouped under these 6 headings.
Wow.
Yeah. So fears, first of all, are nothing more than states of mind. You know, I say a lot, everything is a brain pattern and a frequency. This is the same. It's a brain pattern and a frequency. So that's the great news, because one state of mind is subject to control and direction. Like it can actually interrupt it. And that's what we're going to be talking about in a minute. So man's thought impulses begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent, whether those thoughts are voluntary or involuntary. We talked about that last week about being an antenna, right? Of like, what are you attracting? So thought impulses, which are picked up through the ether, may determine one's financial, business, professional, or social destiny, just as surely as do the thought impulses, which one creates by intent and design.
Yeah.
So begin to look, like, where is this showing up? We are here laying the foundation for the presentation of a fact of great importance to the person who does not understand why some people appear to be, quote, lucky, while others of equal or greater ability, training, experience, brain capacity, seem to be destined to ride with misfortune. This fact may be explained by the statement that every human being has the ability to completely control her own mind. And with this control, obviously, every person may open her mind to the thought impulses which are being released by other brains, or tightly close the door and admit only the thought impulses of your own choice.
Mm-hmm.
What are you letting in?
Mm-hmm.
That is either feeding
Mm-hmm.
fear, and I really talk about like this fear or faith.
That's right.
So we know we have control over thought. And if it is true that all thought has a tendency to clothe itself in a physical equivalent, it is equally true that thought impulses of fear and poverty cannot be translated into terms of courage and financial gain. So if you're thinking thoughts of fear, you're not going to be fear of, like, whether it's fear of poverty, fear of lack of confidence, like you're not going to be able to live out one while that thought is prevailing in your mind. So regarding the fear of poverty, again, it's a state of mind. But it's sufficient to destroy one's chance of achievement in any undertaking.
Wow. Let that land for just
Yeah,
a
let me read
second.
that again. So
Yeah.
fear of poverty is a state of mind, nothing else. And it is sufficient to destroy one's chances of achievement in any undertaking.
Yeah. Fear of poverty is a state of mind and any chance of the undertaking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This fear paralyzes the faculty of reason. So it, like, all reason goes out the door. Destroys the faculty of imagination, which we know is our creative source, right?
Yeah.
Kills off self-reliance, undermines enthusiasm, discourages initiative. So you're not taking action. Like, look at where you're not taking action. Consider it might be there's a fear there. Leads to uncertainty of purpose. You start questioning yourself. Encourages procrastination. So where are you procrastinating in your life, whether it's in the area of finances or health or relationships? Makes self-control an impossibility. Because who wants to, like, get act when it, like, you know, self-control for me is like I'm doing the things I say I'm committed to, even when
Right.
I don't feel like it.
Sure.
Well, when you're grabbed with by fear, like who cares,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the you of who we know you to be isn't even there. It isn't even present. It isn't even
Correct.
available.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It talks about how it turns the willpower, your willpower into nothingness,
Mhm.
destroys ambition, kills love,
Mm.
assassinates the finer emotions of the heart, discourages friendship, invites disaster in 100 different forms, leads to sleeplessness. Like,
Mm.
how many nights have you been kept up by, you know, like, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills this month.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Unhappiness. And despite this obvious truth that we live in a world of overabundance of everything that the heart could desire, I
Hmm.
mean, look around. We do live in an abundant universe.
Yes.
There's nothing standing between us and our desires except lacking a definite purpose. And this fear of poverty is without the most destructive of the 6 basic fears. So that's why it's placed at the head of the list. And um, so the majority of people, if asked what they fear most, would reply, I fear nothing. This reply would be inaccurate because few people realize that they are bound, whipped spiritually and physically through some form of fear.
Mm.
It's so subtle and deeply seated that one may go through your life with it, never recognizing its presence. Only a courageous analysis will disclose the presence of this universal enemy. So that's why we're asking, like, let's look. You know, we know you're like, we've been talking about manifesting your desires, right? We're
Yes.
talking about writing them down.
Yes.
If you write down your desires, you're 80%, studies show you're 80, here's my nerd, right? 80% more likely to actually manifest those when just by the simple act of writing them down. And so we've been talking about how to do that. And what stops us, what's in the way, is fear. So when you begin such an analysis, search deeply into your character. Here's a list of symptoms which you should look. Here's the symptoms of the fear of poverty. I'm just going to read them. I'm not going to explain them. Indifference, doubt, worry, overcaution, procrastination, expecting poverty instead of demanding riches.
Mm.
Like you'll settle, right? So the next big one that I think women especially deal with is the fear of criticism. So the fear of criticism takes on many forms. Um, the individual falls into line and lest someone else criticizes them. So fear of criticism. So let's think about this. Like we went like our whole world went through this whole COVID pandemic, and everybody had different beliefs about it, is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to take a side. I'm just going to say it. And I saw so many people, like what they just said, like fall into line, ignoring their own intuition, ignoring their thoughts of how they should do things.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be criticized. They don't want to stand out.
Well, and this even goes back to one of the other fears that you mentioned, which is the fear of like loss of love, right?
Yes. Oh,
So
absolutely.
we are so such a tribal community. We want to be accepted
Yeah.
for fear of rejection and loss and like death of no love.
Yes.
And it is subtle and it is nasty and it's subtle. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the fear of criticism robs you of your initiative, destroys your power of imagination, limits your individuality, takes away your self-reliance, and does damage in 100 other ways. Here's some symptoms of the fear of criticism. So this fear is almost as universal as the fear of poverty. And I say, like personally, I have this more than the fear of poverty in my own life. And its effects are just as fatal to personal achievement because this fear destroys initiative and discourages the use of imagination,
Yeah.
which is our fuel, right?
Yeah.
So here's the symptoms of this fear: self-consciousness, I'm going to read these because this is so like, when you can look at this and get on the other side of it, there is such freedom and power.
Yeah.
Right. Which is what we're committed to, right?
Yeah. Read it. Let's dive in.
Yeah. Self-consciousness, generally expressed through nervousness, timidness in conversation and in meeting strangers, awkward movement of the hands and limbs, shifting of the eyes. So I know everyone here listening can relate to feeling self-conscious at some point in their life, if not on a daily basis, depending on their level of fear. Lack of poise, expressed through lack of voice control, nervousness in the presence of others, poor posture of the body, poor memory. Because you get hijacked.
Right.
Right. When fear takes over, you are not operating from the frontal lobe. It's all brainstem.
Yep. Survival.
And we know, like, our commitment is that we are thriving, not just surviving. Personality, lacking in firmness of decision, personal charm, and ability to express opinions, definitely. The habit of sidestepping issues instead of meeting them squarely. Agreeing with others without careful examination of their opinions, which is what I was alluding to, what I saw like pervasively, with that. Inferiority complex, the habit of expressing self-approval by word of mouth and by actions as a means of covering up a feeling of inferiority, using big words to impress others, often without really knowing the meaning of the words, imitating others in dress, speech, and manners, boasting of imaginary achievements. This sometimes gives a surface a feeling of superiority. And I think this is, we talk about this, about imposter syndrome. That's what this, because behind imposter syndrome is an inferiority complex,
and just being afraid.
Yeah. So here's the next one, which leads right in, ties in together. Extravagance, the habit of trying to keep up the Joneses, spending beyond one's income. I know I've been there.
I spent a decade doing that.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, I don't know if it's because I'm 50, if I'm 51, but like once I hit 50, like my give a damn button is broke. I don't care. Like this is who I am. Like me, love me, like whatever, or don't, and move on. Lack of initiative, failure to embrace opportunities for self-advancement, fear to express your opinions, lack of confidence in one's own ideas, giving evasive answers to questions asked by superiors, hesitancy of manner and speech, deceit in both words and deeds. And the last one is lack of ambition. And he says it's mental and physical laziness. Like he just calls it out.
Wow. I know I heard myself in some of that. Thank you so much.
And isn't that interesting? Because I would not have necessarily said like physical laziness. I get physical laziness is tied to lack of ambition. I would not have said necessarily physical laziness was rooted in this fear. And when he lays it out, like,
name the fear again.
The fear of criticism.
Fear of criticism.
Is this one of the symptoms is lack of ambition?
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like, stay, this class that I took, understanding the brains of poverty. Oftentimes people living in any environment, but they specifically taught this class on poverty. They call it the poppy syndrome. So they want, like when you grow poppies, I guess if you're a poppy farmer, you want them all to be the same level. Okay? And when a poppy pops up past the level of the other poppies, do you know what they do? They cut it down.
What?
Yes. And it's the same thing with crabs. So if you put a crab in a bucket, you have to put something over it, or else the crab will crawl out. However, if you put another crab in there, it will pull it down. The one that's trying to go up, the other crab will. So like if you have a bucket full of crabs, you don't need a lid. If you have one crab, you need a lid, because people will try to pull you down.
Oh, hang on. Let's just let that one simmer for a...
Yeah. And
Are you the crab that's trying to get out of the bucket and being like pulled down by the other crabs?
Yeah.
You want to go start a business. What happens? You talk to a couple friends, a couple relatives, and they're like, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's a scam. It's a pyramid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you want to write a book or do a podcast. Oh, oh my goodness.
Who do you think you are?
Who's going to listen to that?
Yeah. 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 Yes.
You create a vision board. You display your heart and your ideas. And people are like, really? You think you can do that?
Yep.
Is this sounding familiar? Oh,
Well,
my
and
God.
like, that who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? Oh,
Yeah,
do you know how many times I've heard that?
Oh, you've actually physically heard that?
I have physically heard that. 2000,
Well, and
2012.
consider that is this other person speaking out of their own lack, their
Death
own fear.
over your life.
Yeah. And it's rooted in
Literally.
their fear of criticism because like they are uncomfortable. Like when people, let me say this. What I've really seen.
Well, you got me fired up now.
Is right. Well, people, when you do what you say you're going to do and you write your desires down and you take action that's in alignment with that, and you're starting to achieve the life that you are here to fulfill on. Mm-hmm. When those other people like are like trying to pull you down, like those crabs, like it really like to surround yourself with other like-minded women, which is why we're so committed to creating this community, right?
And up-leveling.
Exactly. And when you could now identify like, oh, that's just their fear of that's their fear of criticism, because they take it personal, like, oh, I'm gonna just say Shannon. I can't let Shannon win, because if Shannon wins, that shines a light on me and how I'm not enough. Like, now, has Shannon ever said that? No, Shannon has never said that. However, like the people who are playing small, like in their chatter in their head is like, they think it's like some kind of weird competition.
Well, and also I just want to point to, are they talking about the past? Like they're like how they were in high school, they were on the soccer team, or they were, and like that was their glory, but their future, like they actually can't create it because they're so stuck where they've been. And like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
You just like recreated my whole 2012 for me.
Well, and can you see it's there now? You can start to identify not only where that fear shows up in yourself, but how you see it manifesting in others, right? So being present to your thoughts, right, is the result of self-discipline and habit. Like I said, it's all a brain pattern. A habit is nothing more than a brain pattern that's been like well defined. Well, the pathway has been run many, many times. So either, here we go, this is a writer downer, either you control your mind or it controls you. You control your mind or it controls you. There's no halfway compromise. Like you can't be a little bit one way and a little bit the other. The most practical of all methods for controlling the mind is the habit of keeping it busy with a definite of purpose backed by a definite plan, right? Yeah. Like that future that's calling you forward. Study the record of any person who's achieved noteworthy success, and you will observe that they have control over their own mind. Moreover, that they exercise that control, like it's very intentional and deliberate, and directs it towards the attainment of definite objectives. Without this mind control, success is not possible.
Amen.
Yeah. So that's what Think and Grow Rich has to say. So, I have some other things to say about this.
I got lots to say too.
Go right ahead.
Well, it all goes back to look at, let's just say, the last decade of your life and my life. I am so clear that we got clear about what we wanted, who we are,
Yeah.
And it goes back to those tiny, like measurable, it's what is that phrase where it goes, big doors swing on small hinges. It's what little tiny actions are you taking today, and then now, and then now, and then now, and then now, that are leading to these extraordinary results. Like, I am so clear, the me that I am today, the accomplishments that I have got, how I've gotten where I've gotten here, like, it did not happen on accident. It was like an intentional, like, I'm, just a little bit today, a little bit today, a little bit today, a little bit today. And today I'm going to work on my mind, and today I'm going to work on my heart, and today I'm going to work on my business, and today I'm going to work on my, it is a culmination of these tiny little micro movements.
Yeah.
With intentional time off that will, before you know it, you will look up and you, like, I mean, I'm so clear. Like, I have to create a new vision board. I have actually accomplished.
Yeah, exactly.
All the things that I set out to do. And there is something honorable about that. I mean, to own your life, to own your word, to own your voice. And do I do it all the time? No. I like the things that I want to do. I'm like, oh, I'm so scared. And that is why I'm going on retreat this weekend. Like, Lord, like,
yeah,
unleash this last tiny piece of fear. And you're right, it is all about the fear of criticism. And two things that I heard, so often we talk about, like, the fear of failure. Also, it's the fear of success, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
well, because like then like you're gonna be called like, who do you think you are? Like,
yeah,
it's that conversation
yeah, who do you think you are? Well, I know who I am.
exactly.
I know who made me.
Yes, look at your shirt.
Right, look at my shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, girl, you got me fired up. What did you hear?
Well, so you've heard, I'm sure our audience has heard different acronyms for fear. So I've heard false evidence appearing real. Like we are stopped by this stuff, right? Here's another one. False emotions appearing real.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that one.
Here's another one. Face everything and rise.
Mm.
So we're going to talk about like a way to have access to that. How about this one? Feeling excited and ready. I mean, there's intense energy there, right? With that fear,
Yes.
some energy there. How about convert it? We talked about transmuting your sexual desires, right? Yeah. You could transmute fears. So feeling excited and ready. Robert Kiyosaki says, fail early and responsibly. So like the fear comes, like go for it. Like,
Run. Yes, do it.
Here, are you ready for this one? This is what stops people, because fear is future events already ruined.
What did you just say?
Future events already ruined. And here's another one that's tied to that.
Oh,
failure expected. Yeah. Failure expected and received.
Wait, say that again.
Failure expected and received.
Okay, those two, write them down.
I told you, right.
I'm getting sure it's printed.
Future events already ruined. Fear. Future events already ruined.
That, oh, so Paul. Hit the pause button. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And failure expected and received.
Failure expected and received. And I'm always like, yes and more, please. We didn't.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
Well, yeah. So I have a little example from scripture in Judges chapter 6. There's the biblical story of Gideon. And we heard Stephen Furtick talk about this.
All like 3 weeks now.
Yeah. So, Gideon was called to fight against the Midianites, which was four times the size of his army. And God said, no, like, here's the deal. You're going to follow me and I'm going to prove to you this is me that's doing these works in your world. So God said to him, send all the fearful ones home. 2/3 of his, now he's already outnumbered 4-1.
Yes.
So God says, send all the fearful ones home, because you know why? Fear is contagious.
Oh, amen. Fear is so contagious.
Yes. So God says, send all those ones that are already afraid, send them home.
Send them home.
Because we don't want that fear to spread through the rest of them.
Amen.
So 2/3 left. Right? So then God said, well, you're only going to actually take 3%. 3% of your army. And so the estimated numbers were that Gideon had 300 people, okay? And the Midianites had 135,000. Yeah. And guess who?
No.
Guess who won? Gideon won.
Gideon won.
Yeah, because he faced his fear, sent all the ones that were afraid home.
Yeah.
You know, all the doubters, like,
man, look in your life, look in your business, look at your friends, you know, send them home.
Yeah, who are you surrounding yourself with?
Woo! Clean some house.
I'm telling you. So we know, I'm gonna just want to reiterate this. So we know fear is just a brain pattern and a frequency. And our thoughts, so our thoughts, this is what I was listening to Joe Dispenza this morning. He said, our thoughts are the language of the brain, and those are electric, because we know we have electricity in our body. This is good. Feelings, because fear is a thought and a feeling together.
Correct.
Feelings are the language of the body, and they're magnetic. And what we know is, well, what I know, and I think I shared this before, is that our emotions are imprinted on our vocal cords. So people can hear the fear in your voice, or the confidence in your voice, or whatever, the love in your voice, because those emotions are imprinted on our vocal cords. So, okay, so here's another thing that he said. When you are living in fear, you are more in love and addicted to the past than you are in love with and addicted to your future.
I said that already.
Yes. So we went, oh, Sophie's. Sorry, my cat came in.
Sophie agrees.
Pardon me?
Sophie agrees.
Sophie agrees. Exactly. She's like, yes, Mom, me too. So writing, so here's a couple of tips to overcome fear. Is daily, at least once a day. I recommend, I do it morning and night. So because first thing in the morning when you're creating your day is very powerful that time of day. And then also right before you go to bed, what you're putting into your unconscious mind while you're sleeping, so very powerful. Write down your desires along with the feelings that you're going to have there when you achieve them, right? The second thing is, with any emotion that you are that you want to process, because like we're not saying ignore it, we're not saying put it under the rug, we're not saying cover it, you know, with like happiness, rainbows, and you know, all of there's Sophie, all the things. We're not saying that.
Rainbows.
Yeah, exactly. So with fear, like in my PQ course that I lead, which is positivity quotient, right? One of the things they talk about is processing your emotions and feeling it in your body, because we just said feelings are the language of the body. So I don't know if a lot of people don't even notice. So I've used this with grief. You could use this with any emotion that is like you want to move through and process. So like when you have that fear, pay attention, exquisite attention. Where is that in your body? And what does that look like? And we're using blameless discernment. We're not judging. We're just noticing. Like you're curious. Like, where is this in my body? So I know for myself, when I have fear and lack of confidence and, you know, all of the things, fear, criticism, for me, it shows up right away. Big surprise. I said our emotions are in our vocal cords. So I feel like a tightness around my throat. And then it grips my lungs. You know, my chest gets tight. And then there's a pit in my stomach. And just by acknowledging, this is what's going on in my body, this is what's going on with a feeling. And then like, you're just like, thank you for sharing, right? Because here's the deal, like our brainstem, even though it doesn't really serve us to get to thriving, it is there to protect us. And we want to say, like, thank you for sharing. And what do I, the highest version of myself, have to say about this?
Right. Always bringing it back.
Exactly. So write your desires down, get really clear how it feels to have those achieved. And when those fears come up, like, where are they at in your body? What do they feel like? Thank them. And then get really clear again about, what did you write down? Where are you going? What do you say about it? Like, your fear is not the truth. It is a liar. You know, one of the songs that we listen to on Joy FM, they talk about fear is a liar. It is a, do not believe it. Don't get suckered in. So anyway, that's what I have to say about fear this week. Last chapter of Think and Grow Rich, baby. It is good stuff.
It is really juicy. Well, and it, you know, just circling back to some of the things we talked about last week, you know, not being seen, not being heard. We talk about, you know, your roar is required.
Absolutely.
And what's so is you cannot not like use your voice, be heard, be seen, and stay in the crab bucket.
I love that.
It's just what's
Stay
so.
in the crab bucket.
It's just what's so. And it takes courage, and it takes bravery, and it takes practice.
Yeah.
And
it's a brain pattern.
It is a brain pattern. And again, if you take a deep breath, get present to it, you know, what are these feelings in the body, you know, expressing to you?
Yeah.
Sensations. What are the thoughts around it? I mean, I can just even feel it right now. It's, you know, will they like what I say? You know, will they get what I say? Will I make sense? Oh, haven't they heard this already? I mean, you can just hear the diarrhea, right?
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, it is just diarrhea and, you know,
Scrappy diarrhea
out of your itty bitty shitty committee.
Yeah.
And go, oh, there you are again.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Thanks for sharing.
I actually think I disappeared you and completed you in, you know, 2007, and then took further action in 2012. And it's not who I am now. Let me remind myself, who am I now?
Yes.
I'm equipped and empowered.
And surround yourself. So when, like, you know, I'm telling you, I had lunch with a dear friend yesterday, and I said, I think one of the most powerful things I have in my life is this pact that I have with Shannon. She reminds me of who I am when I forget, and I remind her when she forgets.
Amen.
And I think every person on the planet needs to have that pact with someone. And, you know, we agree to be that someone. You know, you could reach us in our Soul Sister Adventures Facebook group.
Yes.
Because that, like, it's easy to the fears seem real. And they're not.
That's the devil, right?
It occurs, yes, it occurs as the truth, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not the truth.
It's not the truth.
Not the truth.
No. Here's a liar.
Here is a liar. Give me those two writer downers.
Future events already ruined. So, you know, when you're standing in fear, all the future events are already ruined. Yeah. And your future, oh no, I gotta get my glasses on again.
Get your glasses.
Failures expected and received.
Failure? No, like scratch that one. I like the other one. Say the other one again.
Future events already ruined.
Future events. That one like gets in my gut and pisses me off. When I hear that, I'm like, oh, just watch me, you know, like,
yeah, right. Then you turn into face everything and rise.
There we go.
Turn into feeling excited and ready. Like, come on now.
Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo! All right. Well, ladies, we have given some juice today. And I really invite you to, like Connie said, get present to the emotions in your body, listen to the brain chatter, and actually begin to distinguish it separately from you, right?
Yes.
Like the
Yeah.
voice in your head, it isn't actually you. It's a committee out to keep you safe and survive and stuck in the past.
Yes.
And that's not where we're going, right? We're on the rise. We are awakening goddesses. We are creating futures, creating freedom, right? Creating abundance, having abundance flow. And in the process, like changing the world, making a difference, right?
Yeah.
I know our conversations, are different, unique, unusual. People are like, really? This is like, yes, this really is who we are.
Yeah.
I know people at the water store is like, you really give away water for free? I'm like, yes, I want you to have an experience. Isn't it weird? Yes, we're
Well, you
weird.
give away living water for free. There's
This
a
is true.
difference.
There is
Let's
a difference.
distinguish. Let's distinguish. You do not just give away any water for
No,
free.
we give away living water for free. It's like,
Give
yes,
away living
I
water for free.
want to be unusual. I want to be distinct. I want to be, and that's who you are. So begin to look in your business, begin to look in your life. Where are you having fear stop you? Feel the emotions, experience the emotions, separate the thoughts, and go, holy cow, I've been letting that committee drive my life this whole entire time.
Right. And I invite you to do that with, you talk about blameless discernment, like out of curiosity, not
Yeah.
another tool to beat yourself up.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Set aside the shame, set aside the guilt, set aside the blame.
Yeah. And like, oh, isn't that interesting? Like,
Isn't that interesting? I know
yeah.
for me, when I really saw it, I got mad, right? But it is the gift. So like get mad if you need to or want to, because that's how I roll.
Yeah.
And then get the gift of it. And then you get to hear, like when it arises again, when it comes in again, and then it's like, oh, for what purpose did the party arrive again?
Right. Because it's there, it is designed, like our God created us with this magnificent brain to keep us safe. And we appreciate that. And how often though is it's not serving us. So it's like I really do believe, like you say, thank you for sharing. Thank you for wanting to keep me safe.
Yeah.
And this is what my highest self has to say about it. And unless and until you're writing down what those desires are, who you're out to impact, all of that, then there's no clarity. Like, how can you even begin to tap into that when you haven't claimed the beautiful creation that you are here for?
Well, and that becomes your GPS. That becomes your North Star.
Yes.
This is where I'm going.
Yes.
Like, and you have a clear destination.
Yes.
Clear destination for your life, for your words, for your actions, for your movements, for your speaking, for your attention, for your money, for your time. Like, whoo. Well, you know me, we could be here all day, and my little tiny's getting ready to come home. So well, this is juicy.
Retreat.
Thank you. We will catch up next week. Ladies, I hope that this has just lit a fire in your bellies and begin to awaken and transform and give you access to power and freedom and to get. We are not our brains.
No.
It is not driving us. And get in the car.
Get in the car, baby.
Like it, tag it, post it, share it, leave some comments. We want to hear about you. Join us on the Soul Sister Adventures in the Facebook group. Make yourself known. Let us hear, what are you up to? What are you hearing in this conversation? What difference is it making for you? How is it playing out in your life and your business? And who are you out to impact? We want to hear you. So love you. Mwah!